Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today I'll be casting DauT vs Vinchester Game 4 as part of the Escape Gaming Euro Cup Group D semi-finals. This is an awesome expert replay that really showcases some very useful strategy tips for Age of Empires 2. So if you're looking to learn more about how you can improve your game, then you're in the right place. I've got plenty of Age of Empires 2 videos on my YouTube channel, tutorials, expert games, you name it. You can find my live streaming schedule on my Twitch page, and if you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you'll know when I'm streaming next. Thank you, Aoe2 Official, for subscribing. And then after this, we'll do the usual viewer game. But first, I really wanted to showcase this replay, because this one is great, and I also really enjoy casting expert games. This is DauT vs Vinchester, two very well-known players, both playing as the Slavs in the Escape Gaming map pack. I believe the map that it ended up coming out to be is... this is Continental? And it's a very strange map for sure. So I'm going to start off, though, by introducing the players briefly. So again, we have Vinchester on the right. He will be playing as the Purple Slavs. On the top side of the map, we have DauT playing as the Blue Slavs. DauT the Meta Breaker. For those of you who have been enjoying my Age of Empires 2 Break the Meta series, you should be very, very familiar with DauT, as he's known for his unorthodox strategies. I haven't watched this replay all the way through, but I did watch like the first 20 minutes, and that was more than enough to convince me that this was worth covering. And Vinchester, also an excellent player that I have some replays of. The Slavs as a civilization, I will briefly show their bonuses. They have farmers work 15% faster, free tracking, siege workshop units are cheaper. The Boyar is like a heavily armored cavalry unit on the melee side, and then they're basically an infantry and siege civilization. They're very comparable to the Celts, and I would say that the Slavs are, roughly a nice tier 2 civilization. They are good in a wide variety of situations. Their farming bonus is particularly nice early on. Interestingly enough, it actually does nothing currently once handcart comes into play, but before handcart comes into play, faster working farms is an excellent bonus to have, and overall the Slavs just have a rock-solid tech tree and set of bonuses at their disposal. DauT gonna do a really nice trick at the start and push his deer underneath the town center because your villagers gather food quicker from deer than they do from sheep. They're both Slavs, original Stingy. And if anyone has actually seen this game before, please don't spoil it in the chat, and if anyone has any miscellaneous questions relevant to this specific game, I'd be happy to answer them to try and clear it up. In the beginning of every game of Age of Empires 2, we always see our players focusing with the standard 6 villagers on sheep, and then they build a lumber camp and they put 3 or 4 villagers on wood. On a map like this, though, we would expect 4 villagers on wood, and this is because there is enough water that docking is certainly an option, and 4 on wood is usually more common. You'd really only go 3 on wood if you're going for a very aggressive build. And the way this map is oriented, there are enough choke points that it's actually quite easy to wall. I would expect DauT to wall here, just based off the way the map is set up. Vinchester could very easily wall this choke point, and then they can also wall on the left and right side. Thank you so much, Urban Cohort, aka Elkeed, for the $8.88. That is a different value than you normally give me. Thank you. The tier list of civilizations is certainly up for debate, and with all the balance patches that keep coming out, it's exciting to constantly have to relearn the metagame. And I think that the tier list would change regardless of any balance changes. It took a long time for the Conqueror's metagame to stabilize, and recently over the last few years we've seen a resurgence of the Men-at-Arms Tower Rush style of play. Men-at-Arms actually seeing a lot of competitive play, a unit that traditionally really didn't, and back in my day, everybody was going for these super prolonged feudal wars where they were going really heavy on scouts, skirmishers, spearmen, archers, you name it. They were duking it out in the feudal age for the first 20 plus minutes of the game. And welcome, Hungry Hellbreeder, good to see you. So, these players, of course, now that they have their first 3 villagers on food and wood, that's really just the focus of the early game, is making sure that you collect the resources that you can actually spend. That's why you never see anyone mining any gold or stone until the later stages of the Dark Age. We see 5 on wood early as a telltale sign that a dock is coming down. Vinchester puts his dock over here. Why is that? He could have very easily docked right here. If we look at his scouting information, he knows he's very close to the edge of the map. And this is important too. You never want to build your dock right up against the edge because there is less water and therefore lower chance of actually having good fish. DauT really trying to mess with this boiler, but alas, will not be able to do it despite some accidental self-body blocking by Vinchester. Oh my god, if you lost that villager, that would be really bad. But Vinchester is an excellent player, and look at how he salvages a potentially disastrous situation with a perfectly, immaculately well-placed boiler. Excellent. So Vinchester deliberately walks all the way to the corner of the map to build his dock. This is great dock placement for a number of reasons. Not only did he already see this piece of fish, which is right next to it, perfect for dropping it off, but there's also another one in the corner. Now, in retrospect, we can clearly see that this was the superior corner to dock in, but Vinchester didn't know that because he sent his scout on the right side. So that's just a little bit unlucky. Now, in DauT's case, though, he knows that the coastline is actually further inland on his side, and this means that he gets the luxury of actually building the dock closer to his town center. This is important because Vinchester had to spend a lot more time walking to actually build the dock, which means that DauT's going to have a slight early game lead because he gets his dock finished sooner and gets to start making fishing ships. That's not extremely game-changing, but it's definitely something to consider. Definitely something to consider. You can, this is like, I wouldn't consider this a break the meta revival, as I hold myself to pretty high quality standards, but I think that any game with DauT is absolutely fascinating, and there are certainly some off-meta strategies that are being showcased here. Things that make the Slavs super good, even like free tracking is really, really nice for using Spearmen to defend against Scout Cavalry Raids, which are a very common metagame-esque strategy. And of course, if you're just looking to get into Age of Empires 2 and you don't know where to start, and you're a little confused by watching all the pro games, I just recommend watching some of my tutorial videos first to get a feel for the game. But there's no better way to learn Age of Empires 2 besides playing it than actually watching people play it extremely well, which is why I do like to mix these in from time to time. Right now, DauT going to build a secondary lumber camp on the right. This is because if you put them all on one of them, then I'd say that once you get 4 or 5 villagers on a lumber camp, it starts to become really inefficient. They start to clump up on each other. And nice, he gets to take the scout down. Basically, oh God, you see how my neighbor takes a shower only when I'm streaming. I swear to God, every single time. These people are on a schedule, and there are several people that live in the neighboring apartments, so they're just always showering when I'm streaming. Don't worry, they'll stop in a few minutes unless they're going to look like a prune. Nothing I can do about that one. So it's super inefficient, right, for him to have more than like 5 villagers in a lumber camp. So that's why he's going to go build a secondary one. Now let's talk a little bit about his build order for a minute. He's putting 4 villagers on gold, which is a telltale sign of fire galleys. Why 4 on gold for fire galleys? Well, it's because fire galleys cost 45 gold and a galley costs only 30 gold. So you actually need 4 gold miners to sustain fire galley production, whereas you only need 3 gold miners to sustain galley production. 3 gold miners doesn't actually give you that much information because the 3 gold miners could very easily be for a fast Castle Age build into Knights or something like that. You never really know. And when we look at Vinchester's base, he's got 3 on gold, but he's not going for fire galleys. How do we know this? Well, he's actually still gathering food, whereas DauT is not. When you have all of your villagers on wood and gold, that means you're going for a water-based rush, either a galley rush or a rush for short, or you're going for a fire galley rush. Guesses, why do you think DauT put his first lumber camp where he did instead of putting it in the side forest facing his TC? What do you mean? Why did you put this one here? I think that this is the closer wood line. This one is just too far away. So he just wanted to prioritize gathering wood just a little bit sooner. Wall off on the right, by the way, closing this off. DauT with a forward dock, the madman. This is what I like to see. But he actually does already have a villager in on Vinchester's side, so Vinchester has to close this off. Why exactly, I should talk about this really quickly. Why exactly is DauT going for this this strategy of going for a fire galley rush? Well, he's doing this because he actually, God, that's so loud. He actually scouted this dock earlier on. And he knows that it's vulnerable, it's in the corner. In fact, DauT has even seen this tile of fish. So he knows that this is a super efficient dock and that Vinchester already has fishing ships. Because his scout was alive, he was able to do that. He's even building an aggressive forward dock to make sure that he takes this down. And meanwhile, this is giving DauT the definitive map control to allow him to really snowball the game out of control and build additional fishing ships if he wants. Look at him still pumping, so he's got 6 fishing ships, now he's pumping out the fire galleys, and he will be taking out all of those fishing ships of Vinchester. Vinchester putting down a barracks. Again, DauT scouts this. He knows that there is unlikely to be a faster feudal age from Vinchester. When you see the farms, when you see the villagers and the sheep, and he's seen everything, he knows that he can get away with going for the water rather than the land. Now, Vinchester, though, is playing in the dark. When you lose your scout, it can be absolutely game-changing. Because Age of Empires 2 is fundamentally a game of counters, where you have to adapt your build to beat your foes. And, well, Vinchester has no idea what kind of build DauT is going for, and he'll be able to use this to his advantage for sure. And this means that Vinchester is unfortunately not really prepared for the fire galleys because Vinchester had no idea that the dock was down or where it is. The only dock he saw was this one. And that's only because DauT built it so far forward. So it probably caught him by surprise. I think if he saw the 4 villagers on gold, perhaps Vinchester would have reacted differently. It's difficult to say. This villager, by the way, absolutely not escaping. And now Vinchester going for something very, very interesting. He is building a market and not a blacksmith. What does this mean? Well, you can't really be sure. We have to look at a couple other things to get a better picture of this. Wow, that's a lot of villagers on gold. So he's clearly going for knights with the stable, but commonly we see a blacksmith prioritized over a market, and that would make it seem as though he'd be heavily committing to knights. But this market is really interesting. And here's what I think it's for. I think that he's going to use this to sell perhaps food or other resources like wood for gold. And he might be going for like a monk plus knight push, which is again a little bit unorthodox. By the way, excellent micro by Vinchester. He's just been baiting these fire galleys by just running his fishing ships away, wasting as much time as humanly possible. And DauT, though not born yesterday, not with those wrinkles, is going to use this as an opportunity to get the best dock ever in the top corner of the map where there's so much fish to cover. Knowing that he has water control, this will be a huge boost his economy. Look at the difference in the score between DauT and Vinchester. 2,000 score to 1,300, which is a reasonable indicator of actual power. Slazadon says, off topic, do you know about the Maga building fix mod? It's a nice improvement over the default building set. I have seen it. Looks really, really nice. Rage Master asks, is this the Break the Meta revival? Informally, perhaps. I would love to do more expert gamecasts, and I got a ton of them on my channel, which are like almost Break the Meta, but not really. And of course, now Vinchester actually going to make a fire galley of his own. This is a really, really good play, because Vinchester has scouted the greedy third dock from DauT. So what he's going to do is he's going to avoid all these fire galleys, not fight them, that would be a huge mistake, and instead go straight for DauT's economy, because so much of it is on the water. And by so much of it, I mean the dude doesn't have a single farm, and he's playing as the Slavs, the madman. In the meantime, though, DauT, I mean, he scouted this, because he kept his scout alive, and I can't even begin to emphasize how important this is. The knights are coming down, DauT knows this is coming, so what he's doing, he's putting down a barracks, a blacksmith, and he's putting down a stable. Why is he doing this? Because, see, here comes the blacksmith. This is really interesting that he would actually put down the market first, but again, it's for rebalance his economy. It's really sick to see that in action. DauT's already preemptively making spearmen. He knows the knights are coming. He's also going to put this stable down. Why the stable? Well, he also needs both of these buildings to fulfill his requirements to advance the Castle Age, which is really, really important to DauT. If we go to his perspective, he knows that getting to the Castle Age is really important. He's doing that now. He's actually starting to advance. So he needed this to fulfill the building requirement. But that's not just what this is for. This is also to make scouts to beat the monks, which is an absolutely brilliant choice. Corby says, do you think they're going to change the Magyar sales? If there's enough community pressure, maybe, but it's unlikely. Arxion says, Rezky's talking about unorthodox plays, but the Slavs the only civ with orthodoxy. Touche, touche. Well, here comes the knights. When you go for the market first, your knights are going to be weaker because you're not going to be able to get the +1 defense, but Vinchester knows that's not that important because he's going for a forward siege workshop. If you don't forward the siege workshop, it takes way too long to walk the mangonel all the way across. And look at DauT massing up these spearmen to try and defend. But the madman is getting forging right now. And why is that? This is brilliant, and this is what separates the DauTs from everyone else. DauT's getting forging because this means his scouts will be doing 6 damage every hit instead of 5, which helps him kill monks faster. Also, more importantly, because scouts have an attack bonus versus monks, more importantly, this will allow his pikemen, when he hits the Castle Age, to kill knights in 1 fewer hit. That is absolutely brilliant and something I see players mess up all the time, where they end up getting scale mail armor before forging when you're dealing with knights. But there are no ranged units in this army besides mangonels. They don't really count. So getting forging here, absolutely fantastic. He even puts out a second barracks, which normally is a classic noob mistake. Trying to defend yourself with pikemen and build for second barracks is crazy. But versus a build like this, in which your opponent has no archer range, he's going for monks, he's going for knights, and you know those knights have no upgrades. This actually works out really well, especially when you have free tracking so you can get those knights and actually continually chase them down. Vinchester has the hill advantage, but again, DauT with some great control. Gonna pick off as many knights as possible, put down a town center. See this guy? Putting out a town center right next to his starting one. And look at him picking off these just bunks one at a time, exploiting the minimum range of the mangonels. This guy's going for mass spearmen as the Slavs. The pikeman upgrade coming out, absolutely essential. And when a pikeman fights a knight with no upgrades, which is what is happening right now, knights usually live at 28 HP. But with forging, what happens is you kill the knight in 4 hits and not 5. It's like, it's so sick. It goes from 24 damage a hit from a pikeman to 25, because pikeman has such a huge attack bonus. That's colossal. And then if your opponent has bloodlines and +2 defense, it takes 6 hits to kill them without forging, but 5 if you have forging. So again, that's a technology that I feel like is fundamentally misunderstood by a lot of players. When you're dealing with Huskarls, get forging. When you're dealing with knights and you're making pikemen, forging can be really good. Of course, his opponent could very easily get the defense upgrades to try and negate that, but it's nice to have to kind of force him into doing that. And again, the free tracking is just huge here. So Vinchester getting pushed back. Why exactly is that? Well, besides DauT making some just awesome plays, this is a great aggressive play as well by Vinchester, I think, reading the map. But he just doesn't have enough information. He got caught off guard by the mass pikeman scout defense, just masterfully countered here by DauT. But DauT also just has a decisive economic lead here. So we're at 64 population compared to 44, and a big chunk of that is actually the fishing ships. He has 15 active fishing ships, the madman. And that makes a huge difference. Notice that he has 0 farmers as the Slavs. I don't think I've seen a competitive game of Age of Empires 2 where the Slavs have 0 farms, but only when DauT versus Vinchester happens. But I think Vinchester has also made some excellent plays this game. Like making that 1 fire galley and just harassing these fishing ships was great. Also wasting the fire galley's time was also good. And Vinchester still, despite being behind, this match is so interesting because he's behind so very much economically, but militarily, he still has a decisive lead. He has the monks. The monks with mangonels are a great combination because the monks don't really threaten buildings very easily, and you can't siege a town center with monks. So they complement each other quite nicely. Monks are also very weak to things like, mass ranged units, and mangonels counter that quite nicely. So great combination of units. Vinchester, though, like another reason why the pikeman is just such a brilliant choice is instead of going for something like knights, which are a colossal resource momentum swing, if they get converted, go for pikemen, in which losing them is not really a big deal. So I love the pikeman choice from DauT. If they're converted, that's only a little bit of wooden food down the drain. And here comes DauT with a mangonel of his own, but Vinchester will react in time, and is now going to try and pick this off with his scout. Since there are no farmers in this game, he has no villagers to garrison inside his town center and nothing to repair this mangonel, and he gets just slaughtered here. Vinchester dominating DauT with that play, not able to protect his mangonel, and now at 24 minutes in the game, the first Slavic farm is coming down. 3 people having to build it. Realizes he could use some food badly. Welcome to the stream, Motham. Hello, iVictorious. Good to see you. Hello, Hyuna OP. Ragemaster says, you mean you haven't seen someone play as the Slavs in competitive play? No, I see the Slavs reasonably frequently. They're like a rock-solid Tier 2 civilization. However, they're not commonly used this way. And also, I don't generally see the Slavs in a hybrid land-water map. I usually see them on like a more arena-style map, or maybe Arabia. But in this case, this has just been an interesting mix of land and water combat, and a very, very reasonable application of pikemen. The Sanctity upgrade coming down for Vinchester is super duper important because it allows the monks to live the Mangonel Blast, and when you're dealing with a Mangonel mirror match with monks, it's absolutely essential that you get that. It also makes them significantly more resilient versus enemy scouts. So Vinchester, again, hungry for information, just trying to see what DauT's up to. So now he'll see that there is a siege workshop. We're at 85 population compared to 66. Again, DauT with 20 population lead. But Vinchester has the key redemption technology, really thirsty for that mangonel, and he's gonna get it because DauT he doesn't have enough villagers underneath this town center. So he couldn't actually fire enough arrows. He only had 3 villagers in there. Couldn't kill the monk in time. Big resource swing, and this town center about to go down. DauT so far ahead in eco, but so far behind in military, does manage to get a great trade with the mangonel, which is important. But what I love about this game is the dynamic of it. It doesn't matter what cities these players are. It's always so fascinating to me to see one player have, games where things aren't equivalent, right? Like one player has a massive eco lead and one player is applying all the pressure. So DauT has to survive, and if he does long enough, he can win the game. And Vinchester is on a clock because he doesn't have water control. Although DauT's kind of on a clock too because he's running out of efficient fish. Vinchester going to get housed, actually losing a house. That sucks. Absolutely sucks for him. And this monk walking the wrong neighborhood is going to get shanked. Ooh, but he might actually escape. Super nice. This mangonel will not escape, though. DauT is losing a lot of resources having to defend his town center against this pressure. This is so great to see. And this pikeman will be able to get a kill, too. So my question is where does Vinchester go from here? He's probably going to continue committing to monks. which is a rather large investment on his part. But the nice thing about this, though, is that if he just got 5 more stone, because he's on 2 TCs, damn, if he just got 5 more stone, when you go for a heavy monk build, yeah, the mangonels waste a lot of wood, but it does free up a lot of food for villager production. Ooh, he's misplaced his gather point. Oh, I hate it when I do that. But this just goes to show even gods bleed, we're all human. How many times have I done that? Poor Vinchester. Needs to retask those villagers. Needs 5 extra stone to build a town center. Is that because he built like an outpost or something? Well, okay, so here's what you do when you're this far behind. So hopefully you learned something today. What you do when you need to survive to the Imperial Age, you have the eco lead, you're on the defensive, and you need to just stall. What do? Build a defensive castle. It almost always forces the game to go to the Imperial Age, unless you're playing... Absolutely great micro by Vinchester, and also DauT. Good trade there. He's gonna escape, nice. You build a castle, and in this case, this is a well-placed defensive castle in that it protects both of these town centers and this main gold mine. It will force the game to go to the Imperial Age unless your opponent wants to make like 5+ battering rams, but even then it's super risky, and I think that Vinchester will probably back off here because he knows that DauT has defensive mangonels, which just stop that push. Your opponent has to have a nearly insurmountable military lead to actually take down a castle in the Castle Age. So what this will do is we'll force the game to go to the Imperial Age, and then once we're in the Imperial Age, Vinchester will be able to make trebuchets and close out this game. This town center, though, like Vinchester's gonna sweep along to the left. He's gonna swing over there, and he should be able to take it out with ease. And this is still a huge win for Vinchester. DauT may have the castle down, but look at him having to shift his economy awkwardly on that cliffside. It'll be very difficult for him to actually find room to build farms, and as these fishing ships... I used to move these fire galleys, it's a little inefficient. As these fishing ships run out of food, I think DauT's economy is going to collapse, but DauT, docking on the left side too. Again, recognizing that there's no real way for him to actually build up a farming economy at this point, so he might as well take advantage of every single piece of fish that there are on the map. He's going to get housed by losing this town center, watch. Okay, well he didn't, because he built a house at exactly the same time. Thank you, DauT, making me look bad. So yeah, just a smart play on DauT's part to... Because he has the water. So, and if he wasn't taking advantage of that, he would have absolutely lost to Vinchester's very well executed pressure. Vinchester attempting to house DauT by converting these houses. Again, every little bit helps at this point, definitely. And now DauT, passing up stables, I think that's going to be, it's light cavalry. Did he lose his blacksmith? He did lose his blacksmith, actually, so notably he can't get any upgrades for them. Third stable coming down. Ooh. He's gonna try his best to defend here, but Vinchester, look again, like, look how far ahead he is, and yet he has less score. What a great game so far. 4,600 points to 3,700. I wonder if Vinchester will get to Imp first. He's gonna get to Imp first. The madman. Look at Vinchester pulling all these villagers forward. Will be seen by a well-positioned fire galley. This is exactly why DauT had this here. That way he knew it was coming. He will see this group of villagers, give him plenty of warning time. Again, Age of Empires 2 is a game all about incomplete information, making smart decisions. Vinchester going to focus down the siege workshop, which completely cripples DauT's ability to defend himself. And now he's just sending all these vills forward. I call Vinchester a madman because Vinchester skipped wheelbarrow. Like, he just got it now. Look at him building all these outposts. He just got wheelbarrow now. And his economy is microscopic. It's so tiny. But by being on only 2 town centers for so long, cutting all those villagers and not getting any upgrades, it allows him to get to the Imperial Age first. And why is he doing this? Because, again, he sees the defensive castle. He knows he can't kill DauT until he gets some trebs out. Thank you so much, Barbarous King, for hosting me with 681 viewers. Dude, I really appreciate it. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, but I remember you, man. Thank you so much, Barbarous King. And really appreciate the raid. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you're looking for more Age of Empires 2 content for other games, I got tutorials, expert games, and right now, those of you just tuning in, this is DauT versus Vinchester for the Escape Gaming Euro Cup Group D semifinals. An excellent game so far, and we're coming up on the end stages of the game. Appreciate the raid and the support, Barbarous King. Thank you, guys. Enjoy my commentary. Please do follow the stream. You can find my social stuff below. So right now, Vinchester going to the Imperial Age because he needs trebuchets to take out this castle. Otherwise, there's really no way that he can get through that. Now, DauT is going to have to be... You can calm down with the barb spam a little bit, though. DauT really desperately needs to get to the Imperial Age, but I don't believe he has a market. So yes, he is going to be building one right now. I've watched so much Aoe, I read it like a book. And Vinchester going to try and harass these lumberjacks on the other side of this tree line because he has an outpost, so he can just convert these. Gives him some pretty solid line of sight. Appreciate the raid. I appreciate the raid. Although people do need to be able to use the chat. I know, right, Sperlim. It doesn't actually do anything, but I have to eat. So, DauT's going for heavy, heavy light cavalry, and he's so damn close to the Imperial Age. But what the hell? Did he just change his mind? Dude, he had the resources for this. What? He just started queuing up a bunch of techs. This man's crazy. You built the market just to go to the Imperial Age, and he decided, nope, don't want to do that. Now, DauT is really just lacking map control. And Vinchester now has to, yeah, thanks, Barbers King, really appreciate it. Vinchester now has to shift his pressure onto the right side of the map, because that's where most of DauT's eco is. And DauT, is he building a watchtower? I fucking love this game. Age of Empires 2, man, it never gets old. It's so, so funny. Block printing even down for Vinchester. And yes, Vinchester with the game changer. He's got the Treb, but his eco is so tiny that he only has one trebuchet. And he's giving DauT ample time to... DauT has decided just fuck the Imperial Age. Wow, and he's just going to keep massing light cap. That's a big gambit. Yeah, he's just going for the raid. He thinks that Vinchester's eco is so small, but the problem is that he can get away with this, but the problem is that DauT's running out of fish, and every single time the fish recedes further and further away from him, it cripples his economy. It does, but look at him just investing so much of his resources in these light cavalry. With the bloodlines, he's got +2 defense, +1 attack. Yeah, the emotes are awesome, thank you guys. Welcome, welcome. What a great game so far. Battering ram coming down, DauT's going for the kill. He thinks that Vinchester is so weak, and Vinchester he's puffing out his chest. He thinks it's all a facade. Is it though? I mean, there's no way DauT can defend against this trebuchet, so I would have to say that this is a colossal gamble. Really, it takes huge balls to not go to the Imperial Age. That's honestly insane. And trying to defend against now 2 trebuchets coming down. Vinchester has so much map control, but DauT has been able to fight because of the water, and he sees weakness in Vinchester. We'll be able to take out all those villagers, and one of the reasons that DauT is able to... What a gamble! He's able to get away with this because Vinchester's army is all the way on the left side, and the only way to actually get over there is to walk through that castle, which means that Vinchester is completely defenseless against this light cavalry raiding, and here they come! What's Vinchester gonna do? He's gonna build a defensive castle, which is absolutely the correct choice, but I don't know, will he be able to get it up in time? He has put so much of his economy. He's not gathering any resources, but he will be able to get this castle up. Oh god, is this it for DauT's aggression? I don't know. Well, at least he can't fight underneath this castle, but he's crippled this eco, and Vinchester was not prepared. Slavic Spearman with no upgrades. Absolutely none. And DauT still committing to this. Isn't even aware that there's a 4th age in Age of Empires 2. He's got everything he needs in the Castle Age and more. Absolutely nuts. And now, Vinchester, slowly pushing forward. There's nothing DauT can do about that unless he wants to send his entire army of light cavalry. Well, actually, he could do that, right? Send his entire army of light cav in. Just take out this army. This army is super weak to light cav. He's got 2 knights, sure, but they have no upgrades. And this is just like monks and siege. Super weak to that. Oh, this guy's crazy. This guy's absolutely off his rocker. Yeah, this is your de facto break the meta episode for those of you guys who've been watching that series. So he's gonna come in with the battering rams to take out all these siege weapons and take out this forward, and he's coming in with the light cavalry. Will DauT be able to win this fight? I actually think the answer is yes, because Vinchester just now getting the pikeman upgrade. His army is so weak to this, but light cavalry can be converted, so maybe DauT will lose this fight. I don't know. It's gonna be so close. But these monks, they have sanctity, they're so tanky, and he's getting the conversions off anyway. The light cav resist conversion, but they're not immune to it. And, oh, this is so awkward. But DauT knows that battering rams have an attack bonus versus all other siege weapons. Will be able to take down that Treb. They attack so slowly. He takes the Treb down, denying the push. Patience from DauT. What a game. What a game, but DauT's gonna get mopped up, and he still has the score lead. What the hell? He actually still has the score lead. But he has so many battering rams. But he just doesn't have enough military units. I think that's it for DauT. Seriously, what a great game. Huge play from him, but alas, there are actually too many monks from Vinchester. If Vinchester lived that attack because he had orthodoxy, giving his monks extra armor, this would be the best day of my life, but I still don't think I've actually seen orthodoxy be used. That we'll have to say that for another day. Maybe my birthday will be orthodoxy day. DauT, of course, not going to give up, but I don't know, it takes some huge balls to forfeit the Imperial Age like that. Look at him just taking advantage of every little piece of resources that he can. He's just boxed in the corner. I just can't imagine like what you could do to come back in this. His main strength at this point is that Vinchester's army is really tiny. His economy is still weak, and this army is just super easy to counter. I mean, maybe DauT can come back in this. Maybe it's not over. He has 1,200 points ahead. It's just that DauT has no food left. He has exhausted all the fish on the map. What's he gonna do? Build a dock over here now? I mean, he might. And I think that's a good play. I don't know, DauT's eco just sucks balls. Like, he's making archers. He's getting the crossbow technology. This guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. I don't really believe what I'm watching right now. But these are smart plays though. They're smart, unorthodox situational plays. I do not think that this is normally what you should be doing. But he has a chance here. I mean, we bait this army, pick off the monks? Yeah. Glitch your light cav inside the stable to protect it? Sure. Great control here by DauT, picking off every single remaining monk, and Vinchester petering out. I mean, his economy just is very, very, very weak. I mean, DauT's is too, but he's just moving on the right side. He's just constantly shifting the battle line forward, and since his battering rams managed to take out most of the trebs and take out most of the siege weapons, he's able to live another day. He's still ahead. It's unbelievable. 135 population to 109. How does DauT have a population lead? He's lost his base. He's just like bottled up over here. And now he's massing crossbow and he just is fletching 45 minutes in the game. Oh, DauT, never change. But Vinchester is getting real tired of this shit. And he's going to put down what I consider to be potentially decisive castle. Because it's going to deny this wood line, it's going to deny this gold mine, and DauT has no answer to this. I think this is a great play from Vinchester, and really the only way that he could... Somehow, only DauT can live this long. DauT is a master at not dying. Vinchester, though, is going to make absolutely the correct play. The only way that Vinchester can actually close this game out is with a forward castle drop like this on a really important resource node location. Because this gold mine's about to run out, and this denies this gold mine. Yeah, this is 8 range, this is plenty. So this is really, really important that he does this. Because DauT's in the Castle Age, so he has no answer for trebuchets, which is the reoccurring trend in this video. When you're in the Castle Age, you don't have a clean answer to trebs, and when you're in the Castle Age, you don't have a clean answer to castles. So, well, it's mostly you don't have a clean answer to castles. You can kind of answer the trebs, but it's difficult. Ideally, you want to be able to have your own trebuchets to deal with this. And, you know, DauT can make a battering ram, but he's not going to be able to remove this castle. So DauT is totally on a timer, still slightly ahead somehow, even attempting to move in here, just trying to make aggressive plays. But he just doesn't have an army for this, and the Slavs, they don't get thumb ring, right? Yeah, no, their archers are terrible. They're really, really bad. But the reason that he's doing this is because he's running out of food. That's why he's making crossbowmen. There's no room for him to build farms. He's really trying his best, but there's no room for him to actually build farms. He's running out of fish. He needs to build up an army, and crossbowmen are very good against monks. This is actually nice. Neo VIP Hearthstone says, unorthodox plays lose against orthodoxy. Indeed. What a weird game. Arceon says, how does DauT have a pop lead? Because he's a legend. And Clarice Claudheim asks, where are the longbows? This is the next best thing. These are your ghetto longbows. And now DauT can build a castle of his own. He wants his old base back. He's trying to build his castle where his town center was originally. So crazy. And DauT still ahead, but this castle is really going to be bad for him. It really, really is. And Vinchester will win the game if this castle comes down. But now DauT's like, all right, 48 minutes in the game, I'm done messing around. He knows that there's no way he can win this game unless he trebs down these castles. So, he's going to go to the Imperial Age now. Is it too late? That is the question. But DauT, he doesn't have enough gold in his main base. See, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to stall till he gets to the Imperial Age, shift his economy back to the left side and kind of reset this game, take his base back. Yeah, maybe he'll be able to do that. I don't know, but Vinchester putting down another castle. It was really, really well-placed one. Trying to deny as much map control as possible, but I just don't think DauT has enough places to run, and he doesn't have enough gold mines remaining. He gets the Imperial Age. I mean, he has a castle, so he will be able to treb this. He's going to try and reset this game and go back to his own base and drop a TC over here. This game. If you've been enjoying this, I would appreciate it if you take a moment to share it around. Always helps out quite a bit, and I do read all your comments if you don't get a chance to respond to each of them. So thank you for those of you who respond to them on my behalf, as well as just leave me some nice feedback. Thank you all. We finally see a Boyar. DauT just pretending like this is his own base again. I don't know if he actually knows the castle's there. Yeah, he does not, so he's going to be in for a rude awakening. But no fletching out from Vinchester, notably. I just think that one of the problems with this match right now is that DauT's just running out of fish, and he really put all of his eggs in the fishing ship basket. It's certainly going to bite him. DauT trying to do some raiding to equalize this game, but Vinchester's eco sucks, and DauT is raiding with crossbows. Does Vinchester even have an answer to this? Can Vinchester even answer this? Well, he's got 3 monks. There's a petted archer armor. Very nice. He's gonna focus fire on the monks. Orthodoxy would be so good here versus these crossbowmen. That's absurd. Like, the thought of orthodoxy actually being a decisive technology boggles my mind, but it's so true. Orthodoxy would be great against these crossbows. It'd be great against the light cavalry. It's useful. He has the castles, but I think Vinchester has never researched it in any of his games, and I don't blame him. I've never researched it either. I've had the thought, but if there's one game where orthodoxy is insane, it's this one. DauT's in the Imperial Age now. He can make some trebs. He's so far behind, and I think sitting underneath that watchtower, great, well-placed watchtower by Vinchester, will cost him most of his army. And Vinchester should be able to mop this up, but 5 crossbowmen with bodkin arrow is still a threat. Definitely still a threat. DauT going to make that trebuchet I've been talking about all game. Vinchester does not have masonry or anything, so his castles will fall very quickly. And now the scores are finally evening out, just because DauT's lost most of his base, and this was just a game-winning play by Vinchester. This is years of experience, identifying that this is the place to put the castle. Very difficult to saturate this, by the way, and surround it by battering rams. Put it here, deny the wood line, deny this gold mine, which he knows is of immense strategic importance to DauT, because the other gold mines are just too risky or they're too depleted for him to harvest from. And now, DauT going to start the Treb War, but he's behind. You never want to be the person who has the trebuchets out last. You always want to have them out first. Otherwise, it's just you have to spend so much time repairing your castle. DauT does not have masonry either. Nobody ever gets masonry. And, well, it would really help here for sure. Can he win this Treb War? That is the question. First shot's going to miss. DauT's actually just going to go straight for the castle and not attempt to Treb those. Where's this Treb firing at? Crossbowman? Ha! Alright. I mean, if there's any reason that DauT can still win this game, it's because he's doing everything in his power to be as annoying as possible. He is raiding Vinchester's eco. Vinchester, I would say, falling apart at the seams, but both of these players are absolutely crippled. Vinchester trying to send in I think a converted battering ram with redemption to take out these that trebuchet is really cute play. But DauT has a villager there. We'll be able to hold the line. I mean, now Vinchester's on the defensive because he doesn't really have a way to get underneath these castles, and Vinchester just doesn't have a military. Getting raided in his own base. Is DauT going to still win this game? It's 108 population. Vinchester has the pop lead now. Both these players are so weak. This is one of the messiest games of Age of Empires 2 I have ever seen. Seriously, one of the messiest games I've ever seen. Orthodoxy adds, I think, +3/+3 armor to monks. And in this match, it would be good. Would actually be good. Oh, man. I think if DauT had more eco, he would be also considering doing some raiding by the ocean, but I think this castle kind of denies that, and the coastline is just too narrow here. Like, the ships would just get sunk by the castle if they tried to swing around. Oh my god, DauT's gonna take out that castle. If he can get back this gold mine, maybe he's in this game, but Vinchester knows this. He's going to strip mine as much gold as humanly possible from it, if he even thinks he has a risk of losing this gold mine. Just deplete all the resources from your opponent's base. Salt the earth as you claim it. And then so, once DauT gets this back, will it even matter? I don't know. And Vinchester has... I mean, Vinchester... God, he has 800 stone in the bank because he's had so much map control this game. He's probably even been buying stone, too. I bet he even has some relics. I bet if we check. I wonder how many he actually has. Well, he has at least one. DauT has such a small military, but so does Vinchester. The trebuchet pressure coming down, but Vinchester has the stone to spare. Keep an eye on his stone count in the top left. That's going to tell us who's going to come out on top in this engagement. DauT desperately trying to repair his trebuchet. But if he gets lucky and these shots keep missing, that could be his saving grace. Oh wow, he put the villager inside the castle there. I wonder if that was to dodge a potential miss? Because if the projectile misses and hits another target, those actually deal 50% damage, which 200 is... 100 in this case would be plenty to kill a villager. DauT coming in with some light cav. These light cav really paying dividends. We'll pick off the trebuchets. DauT's probably going to take down this castle, killing off a couple villagers. I don't actually know if Vinchester has murder holes, because I don't see these, this castle prioritizing the units that are closest to it. Oh my god, he doesn't have murder holes! He can't repair the castle anymore, he doesn't have murder holes, but does DauT know this? He has to be so careful not to pull back his light cav. No murder holes, no service, don't get baited by that light cavalry, go for the villagers! Go for the villagers, man! He's still though, here comes one light cavalry. This castle's going down! DauT's still in this game! I'm running out of voice! But DauT has no cash at all! What a stupid game of Age of Empires 2! And DauT! What do you do when you have no room for farms? I guess you build fish traps. I just want to know if DauT actually got gill nets, if he's that kind of guy. I mean, if there's anyone that gets gill nets, it's this guy. Oh, man. Games like these, man, they make me want to marry DauT. This is so sick. So unbelievably sick. And why I still love casting Age of Empires 2 games after all these years. I've been doing it since 2009. The first Age of Empires channel. Still doing it today because guys like this continue to amaze me. But Vinchester is a great player too. And now, like, how much does it matter that DauT has his old base yet? If Vinchester just came into DauT's house and trashed it, DauT has it back, but does he even want it back? I don't know. Vinchester at 139 population, no, not even close to 200. DauT behind, but he's been ahead in score the entire game despite being on the defense. By the way, Boyars are so unbelievably powerful in this situation because of their immense Dura armor, allowing them to resist melee attacks. Think of them as like a mounted Teutonic Knight, but a little less exaggerated on the Dura armor. And it's just very strong. 2 Pierce armor is good enough versus crossbows. It's not that great versus things like Herbalist, but it's good enough versus crossbows. And it's so powerful versus the Hussars like cavalry, which we are seeing coming into play here. Only Knights for Vinchester, because Vinchester real poor, but so is DauT, and DauT's just... he wants to get back all of his resources. God damn, DauT pulls this one out, that would be nuts. But he needs to sustain villager production, and this trebuchet, huge thorn in the side. DauT can only fight in so many locations at once, and once again, the thing that's keeping him in the game are his docks, those fish traps. It's the water control. If Vinchester would make a fire ship. It's really easy for me to say this in retrospect, because Vinchester right now is playing like 5D chess. You have to imagine like an octopus playing Age of Empires 2. He's got his tentacles all over the keyboard. It's difficult for him to manage all these things at once. So as a caster, I point these out for your own reference in your own games. If you're ever in a situation like this, you remember this video. You're like, I should make a fire ship because DauT runs on fish. It's all he eats all day, every day. And that's one of the ways that you can starve him out. Vinchester still can't get a score lead, can't catch a break. He's gonna lose this push. This replay is way longer than I thought it'd be from the file size. What the hell? I thought this was gonna be like a 35, 40-minute game. But DauT just doesn't die. It's like my playstyle on steroids. Just don't die. The winning play is to not lose, and DauT is an expert at not losing. You just gotta grind Vinchester out, make him eventually want to quit. And honestly, with the persistent light cavalry rating, he might be able to do it. Of course, JT Lonely Knight, of course he's got tentacles. Glad you're enjoying the game, Shaky Susie. Ho ho ho! This is live, Adrian Goron, yes. I don't have the Aoe2 HD overlay because it's not compatible with Windows 7, and I don't know Windows 10 yet, and I don't have the money to upgrade my PC. I'm just gonna do all that at once for my birthday. So I'll be upgrading my PC soon. I'll get Windows 10. I need to get it so I can play AoE Definitive Edition, which yes, I will do. Of course I will do! You've hopefully seen my Age of Empires Definitive Edition video, and probably by the time I post this on YouTube, all the announcements of Gamescom have already happened, you know, usually I upload these like a few weeks after I actually cast them, so. Yes, I've heard all the news, I'm excited at whatever it is, and you'll hear my opinion on it during my live stream after that. The Boyars! Perfect unit choice here from Vinchester. See, this is why I love this, like a Slav's mirror match, is I feel like they have the tools, like such a weird toolkit as a civilization to deal with everything that they could field at each other. Similarly, I think the Incas are the same way, and Vinchester, Boyars are great. In fact, the Boyars are so great, he's threatening to actually climb up the scoreboard. But no gold left for DauT. No gold left for DauT. Yeah, but Vinchester's been just getting raided so hard. I mean, look how inefficient these farms are. He's forced to do that. I'm sure he's gonna mill that. Ooh, Vinchester did make a fire galley, though. Did make a fire galley. This is why these guys have 2,000 plus elo. Excellent. Excellent play. I mean, man, if you can starve DauT out. He's at 86 population. I'm gonna be real. Like 4 or 5 Boyars is kinda all it takes to mop up this army. The Boyars only have 1 pierce. Oh shit, regular Boyars have 1 pierce armor? Ooh, that's actually bad. You need elite Boyar, but there's no way Vinchester can afford that. Let's pop his Vinchester out. Hey, Vinchester's double DauT's pop, so maybe now DauT is finally lost, just because DauT has no base. He has no base. It's just him, fish, and a couple light cab. In this situation, what should DauT be doing? He needs to build a metric shitload of town centers. He just needs to build as many of them as possible, and just pump out villagers. And he needs like docks. He needs just an economy, which he does not have. DauT actually has enough to build... He has enough resource to build another town center. But DauT's hesitant because he thinks that he's on a clock and that he needs to end the game now, so he wants to spend all of his resources in military units. DauT has to make a conscious trade-off here. Do I make a town center, or do I make a trebuchet? And DauT places more value in the trebuchet. However, Vinchester, it's the halberdier upgrade. Look at this. Look at this rich snob, this 1%. Vinchester with his halberdiers. 1 hour in the game. If you can afford Dragina, or if he gets Elite Boyar, this game is over. Boyars are so good. But Boyars are so good that DauT wants to hop on the cool kids train, and he's got a group of Boyars too, which have max upgrades except for the Elite Boyar tech, which is pretty significant. The additional armor that the Elite Boyar tech does provide does matter a lot. DauT has claimed back his own base, and he is remembering to create villagers. The most important piece of advice I can give you in Age of Empires 2 is keep making villagers till you have at least 100, and DauT just cannot keep that because he's being attacked so often. Has the game finally reset? I mean, Vinchester's trying to raid these fishing ships because he knows that's the only way that he can win the game. He's doing a great job of that and forcing DauT to even make some fire galleys. I feel like Vinchester will eventually win this game only because the game's Age of Empires 2 is super duper well designed, and Vinchester made the plays that he needed to get him this far. He salted the earth. I think he mined all of the valuable resources off the maps. I think he can just starve DauT out. Even though DauT is really threatening a comeback, Vinchester just has too much money. And if there's one thing in life that's true, is that having a lot of money makes things significantly easier. Poor DauT has no answer to these halberdiers, making cavalry all game, but Vinchester been saving up every single penny to get his halberdier upgrade for Christmas. And look at him, on his way to 200 population. They grow up so fast. They grow up so fast. I think DauT's finally going to call it. An hour and 8 minutes in the game. The legend, unfortunately, even gods bleed. And Vinchester absolutely earned this win. No shadow of a doubt here. He did a great job. And DauT knows that he can't engage this army directly. It'd be a colossal waste of resources, so he's not going to. Instead, he's going to push aggressively forward here. Shame we didn't see Orthodoxy come out. I think Orthodoxy would have been amazing, but the fact I'm seeing Boyars and Boyars being great is fantastic. That's why I love these mirror matches for civilizations that, you know, we do see in competitive play, but not typically mirror matched against each other in this type of game. And now we see Boyars, a unit which is just good. It's just good, but it's situational, and it's so very powerful versus these kind of like melee mono cavalry style armies, where DauT just doesn't have the ability to tech into halberdier or anything if he wants to. And Vinchester kind of losing this battle because DauT is taking a smart fight. He's just kiting the halberdiers, which are much slower than the cavalry, and he's just picking off every unit that doesn't have a giant pike in its hand. So, does allow him to win that battle, but again, I think that it's too little too late for DauT. Poor guy. Vinchester pulling in on the right side of the map, doing some raiding with halberdiers on the left. He'll take a potato chip with his left, trebuchet with his right. Moving in, I just think that there's no way that DauT can win at this point. God, he really did threaten that comeback, though. 100 population behind, I think, it's too much for even DauT to come back from. And Vinchester should be able to close this out. But I think that to say that DauT had an immaculately well-crafted defense is an understatement. I think that he leveraged every single tool that he had in his arsenal to keep himself in this game. The fishing ships were really, really important. The fish traps were important as well. No real safe place to put farms. We don't typically see people going like mass fish traps because they're so vulnerable to single fire galley and whatnot. But in this case, yeah, he had the map control. He had the fishing ships. He should just do it. And if you're interested in seeing an analysis in depth on how efficient fish traps are, and particularly how efficient Malay infinite fish traps are, I have a civilization overview on it. Maybe one of my mods can link it in the chat, where I go over it in detail in sort of spirit of the law data analysis style. But Vinchester, so rich. This man's so fat, it's got siege rams. DauT sees the siege ram, he's like, fuck that technology. I've played enough Age of Empires 2 to know that that's GG. So, amazing game here. Vinchester definitely earned that win, but yeah, he earned that win. He really had to claw his way up to the top of this scoreboard with blood, sweat, and tears. Vinchester to throw everything in the kitchen sink to kill DauT. Always double tap, or DauT will keep getting back up. Great game here by both these players. That's some quality Age of Empires 2. So hopefully you all enjoyed that one. If you did, don't forget to check out the rest of the stuff on my YouTube channel. I've got plenty more Age of Empires 2 videos there, as well as videos for other games, and your support for the content I do for other games really helps me produce more Age of Empires content and also build the Aoe community. Thank you for keeping my sanity and being awesome. If you enjoyed this match, definitely share it around. Super entertaining one, I like to think. And yeah, you guys are also a great viewer base. Appreciate reading all your comments. I'll show you the timeline in a minute. Epid, absolutely great game. That is the textbook definition of a madman. The Relic Gold. The Relic Gold was quite important in this game, I'd have to say. 3,400 gold doesn't feel like that much if you play a lot of late game team games, but in a 1 versus 1, every single penny counts, and getting those relics early was great. This is such a close game, and it just goes to show how hard it is to kill DauT. Should get an achievement for that one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll be right back. I'm going to do another match after this, but I need to take a 5-minute break to rest my voice and grab a glass of water. There will be more games after this. Stay tuned, and as always, I appreciate the support and the wonderful comments. Thank you for being awesome. That Explorer. Yeah, the exploring percentage and the conversions are great. We'll be right back. Thank you for following the stream. Stick around.